Now, I can't play the full album to you, and I'm going to have to cut this one short in a second, but what's your favourite kind of blue track? So, some really good news. I'm talking to you back on my G7X, which has finally, after 8 weeks, been repaired and come back to me. I don't think I'll be using that guy for a repair again. It looks like they've done a good job, it just takes far too long to turn and repair around. It's looking at 8 weeks. It's a beautiful, beautiful day outside. I'm spending most of it doing what I don't like doing, but got to be done on weeks like this week, building up to this 1959 gig on Sunday, and that's doing all the admin, getting everybody's music ready. But the slight problem is I've just bought a new laser printer toner, and most of the printing's all coming out smudged. Can't quite believe we're all back outside again. It's currently 19 degrees in February, which is insane. Now, 60 years ago this coming Saturday, Miles Davis took 6 other musicians into the studio, because he had Wynton Kelly for the first track, which was Freddie Freeloader, and recorded the first bits of sessions for Kind of Blue. This book by Ashley Kahn is amazing. I'll link to it below. If you haven't read it already and you're into jazz, you really have missed out, and you need to go and read it. So much amazing information. What I'm doing is trying to brush up, because this coming Sunday we're doing the first of our 1959 gigs. It would have been amazing if we'd been able to do the gig on Saturday, but never mind, these things happen. But it's going to be quite amazing to be playing that music 60 years ago, almost to the day since it was recorded. One thing that I'd forgotten about was that Freddie Freeloader, of course, was the first track that was played on the recording. It's not the first track on the album, so what's the first track on the album? But because Wynton Kelly was just playing on Freddie Freeloader, they did that one first, and he left Bill Evans, who it's argued basically co-wrote a lot of the music. But Miles hangs on it wasn't, did all the piano parts for the other ones. So I'm just going to brush up so I've got good, interesting stories to tell to the audience on Sunday. But I need to go pick the kids up from school. Now, I can't play the full album to you, and I'm going to have to cut this one short in a second, but what's your favourite kind of blue track? I kind of vary. I mean, there have been times when it's definitely been So What or All Blues, and even Freddie Freeloader's appealed to me. I've never really been that into blue and green. However, flamenco sketches, I love Coltrane's solo on this. Let me pause it. In fact, if you head over to Cambridge Saxophone, there is a transcription course on flamenco sketches on Coltrane's solo. But what an amazing album. As I said earlier on, the first 2 tracks were laid down 60 years ago this coming Saturday. So vote now in the poll as to what your favourite track is of Kind of Blue. It'd be interesting to know kind of where you guys come along. I know it's kind of different for me, as I've just said it each time. But we're definitely doing 3 of the tracks on Sunday. So What, Freddie, and All Blues. Might squeeze the other 2 in, maybe on the London gig and other gigs in the future, but it's what an amazing... I was only aware of this album kind of in my early 20s. Maybe today I'm the first person to tell you about this album. Good, the sound's on. If that's the case, then I feel very honoured. Buy it, listen to it. Buy it on vinyl, buy it on CD. I've got it on CD, tape, vinyl, and of course on iTunes as well. I need to get some practice done though, and I need to get, rather weirdly talking about Kind of Blue, I need to do the Dave Brubeck tune which Miles plays, which gives me a nice little link to the 2 artists, which is Brubeck's In Your Own Sweet Way. I kind of realised I haven't played it on a gig in years, There's two different arrangements. Miles does it slightly differently, so I just need to make sure I get my head around, because Coltrane takes the first solo on it. It's not as straightforward as you think. So the eagle-eyed amongst you would have caught me switching between the two mouthpieces there. Sole reason was I just kind of wanted to check that that Sios mouthpiece is as good as it feels, because it's so free-blowing. It just gets out of the way, which is what you always want with gear, and I just am able to play any single note I want to go for without thinking about it being in tune or about it, you know, kind of not sounding, which often happens on the Link. There's definitely something within the complexity of the Link sound that I'm not getting with the Sios, but I need to do more listening, and I don't know whether that's just because I'm more used to that Link sound. It's certainly, I feel, got a slightly darker tone to it. It just looks and feels weird. It looks and feels like it shouldn't sound as good as it does, but it really, really does. And I'm going to try out those two other mouthpieces that Sios sent over to me next week. I'm not going to have any time to do them for the rest of this week, but I do want to do a Q&A on Thursday without hitting the tripod. So please do send me some questions. Let's do a Q&A vlog, and let's, you know, if you've got any questions about 1959, about Kind of Blue, actually tell me what your favourite tracks are. Maybe there's other albums that you think, just the last one, that In Your Own Sweet Way, an interesting little story on it. It was actually recorded by Miles in 1956, when Miles was coming to the end of his contract with Prestige Records, and basically what Miles did is he just recorded 4 albums almost one day after the next, or very, very quickly, and then Prestige didn't release them until much later, because Miles was so keen to get out of this Prestige contract and get over to Columbia. So this was actually released, I think, either at the same time or after Kind of Blue, even though it was recorded 3 years before. But it has that nice link to Dave Brubeck as well, because it's a Brubeck tune. So it's nice to be back in the studio. It's nice to have the Canon G7X back. I'm starting to feel like everything's sort of coming back to a bit more normal. So let me know. Q&A vlog next time. Lots of other things coming up as well over the next few weeks. So make sure, if you don't already, hit that subscribe button. Check out my last vlog here. This is what I was up to this time last year. I will see you very soon, Fat Thursday. So bye-bye.